Welcome back to Golden Rule Radio, your weekly recap of the precious metals markets. And today we're going to follow up on last week and just take a quick snapshot look at the metals and the Dow and currency markets and see how we've played out since our predictions last week. Gold actually has broken back above that 382 fib. Now, in order for me to argue, we're actually seeing some more upside potential. I'd like to see us push above about 1846. That's going to be the first little test there. My gut still tells me that we may see some more downwards momentum in gold, given the previous move down back at the end of February here last week. So we shall see. Gold can continue this trend back upwards, but for the time being, gold remains in that downwards trend that we started back at the beginning of February, and I'm still targeting somewhere down around the high 17s, although it was nice to see gold get down to about 1805. We did say it was possible we could see gold see some resistance there at the 1800-ish mark. So if we do see gold continue up, I'd say about 1860 is where we're going to see the first resistance on the upside. The next week or two should be telling. Now let's take a look over at the silver market, which also has continued its decline, but has had a tiny bit of a bounce here over the last couple of days. Now, the thing I like seeing here on silver is we look back at pricing from Tuesday, the 28th, here a couple days ago. We did come into the 618 fib. Now, that was something we were expecting to see happen down here at about $20.47, 48 cents. And we've had a little bounce from there. So I actually would expect to see silver continue to climb probably for the next couple days. Now, you're looking at silver getting up into the 22s, really, before you can start to argue that silver has hit its bottom and turned around. But we're certainly hoping to see come down into a pretty strong support level here at the 618 fib and potentially turn around from there. So one thing that we've been talking about for a couple weeks is the fact that we think silver might be leading gold right now in this trend, meaning that silver is going to come down first and turn around first. So if we've seen a bottom in silver here this week, and we see silver continue to climb over the next week and break out above some of these higher levels, it could be very telling that gold may find bottom in the near future as well. Now, on the flip side, while we're seeing some bounces in the metals, we're unfortunately seeing nothing but more bad news for the U.S. equity market. I put a couple numbers on the board last week that I was looking for potential bottoms, but not very strong ones. This would be the 32,950, which we hit back at the end of January, and then the 32,580 we hit back in the middle of December. We have now broken below that first number, and it looks like we're definitely on our way down to the second. The first place I would expect to see the Dow see any type of major resistance would actually be a little bit below that at around 32.2, which is going to be its 618 fib on the way down. Now, the first place we could see the Dow Jones put in a pretty strong bottom would be right around where we're at now, 32,580, which was that low I just mentioned. But I'd actually be looking for something more around like 31,200. That's your 618 fib. It also lines up with some longer term trend lines that are dating back to the all-time high we put in back in January of 2022. So about 13, 14 months ago. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some more downwards momentum in the equities market after we put in the string of lower highs, which dated from December until we turned down here in the middle of February. So the Dow, no surprise, looking relatively weak, or at least showing weakness going forward. And I would certainly expect to see the equities market continue to decline. Now, all of this is predicated by the U.S. dollar, which has actually stalled out around just under 105 for the last few days. I was targeting more in the 107, 108 range, where I think we could see the U.S. dollar bounce back up to, which would certainly coincide with, say, the equities decline. That would also coincide with, for instance, gold continuing to go down for a few weeks. But ultimately, despite raising interest rates, despite trying to strengthen the value of the U.S. dollar and the U.S. bond market on a global scale, I still think it's likely we should continue to see U.S. dollar decline going forward due to inflation. And if that ends up being the case, as we've talked about for a number of months now, we're going to have to see both the Federal Reserve Bank and the U.S. government take additional measures, additional steps to try to protect the U.S. dollar and strengthen our footprint going forward. With that being said, US dollar index, while it may be short term strong, I still think it's long term weak. Gold and silver, while they may be short term weak, I still think they're long term strong. And the equities market kind of just looks weak. So that's going to do it this week for Golden Rule Radio. As always, we appreciate you stopping by, do the YouTube things. Better yet, you can swing by our website. We can be found at McIlvaney.com. We're also on Twitter at ICA Gold or Facebook at McIlvaney Financial. As always, if you'd like to speak to your advisor here at McIlvaney Precious Metals, you can reach us at 800-525-9556. Thanks for listening and have a great week.